Hey folks, Fernando doing a video for More Survivalists, and in this video I'd like to talk about what's happening across the United States in many major cities regarding the different protests, rioting, as well as some statements made by Trump regarding China and the World Health Organization. So let's go step by step. First of all, regarding the situation with George Floyd, I think it's pretty straightforward what we see in the footage available. There was an excess of force being employed by police officers. Guys, one of the things I insist a lot in my channel is, being level-headed, form your own opinion. Don't be black and white with your reactions to everything. Not everything is a clear, clean-cut black and white situation, and law enforcement, police officers are just people like anyone else. You probably had experience with good, bad, and mediocre dentists and everything in between. Same goes on with cops. There's some wonderful folks in the force, in the military, and there's some bad ones as well. In this case, at the very least, a lack of understanding of proper procedure or even basic human anatomy. Once a person is flat on the back on the floor, you do not put your knee on their neck. Even if it's a large individual, once he's handcuffed, you have 2-3 guys on top of him. The neck just has no support whatsoever. So you have your shoulder, your head, and if you're going to be applying your weight with your knee to that person's neck, you're likely to end up in some serious injury or even death, which is what ended up happening. So not only did we have one, we had 3 guys on top of Mr. Floyd, and yeah, of course, they ended up killing him. We're talking about people that I don't even think they were trying to kill him. I think they had no understanding of what they were doing. Lack of empathy is just part of it. It's also about a lack of understanding how the human body works, even in a large guy. That the guy was screaming out, "I can't breathe." Yeah, because he couldn't breathe. You're just choking him with your knee, and no way for him to change position. Yes, it's gonna be ending up in death like it did. So these guys, the guy with his knee on his neck, clearly did not understand what he was doing, and if he did, he didn't care. Either way, you just cannot excuse that kind of behavior. At the same time, you have most officers are wonderful people doing a very tough job in a split of a second decisions all the time. So yeah, that's also true. And there's people rightfully angry and protesting. Now, people rightfully angry and protesting are not people that are burning down cities and looting and committing crimes. Those, as Trump rightfully described them, those are thugs. So if I'm angry because of this man's death and I go out there with a sign or whatever, clap and make my discontent heard in public, which would be my right to do so in most civilized countries. You would have a right to peacefully protest. That's perfectly fine. You don't have a right to burn down a city because someone was killed. It's just not the way it works. Those are criminals. Those are thugs. Now, I was reading that Trump is being criticized over the term thugs. I don't know, what do you want to call them? Criminals, delinquents, arsonists, looters, whatever it is that they are. They're just, thugs would be a good way of describing them. These are not people that are protesting. These are people that are committing crimes. These are people waiting for moments and opportunities like this just to go out and steal and rob and burn down cities. And those people deserve what should be heading their way. They should be answering to law for their crimes. Now, you cannot put everyone in. Again, this thing about putting everything in the same basket and making just a big old mess. No, you have people that may be rightfully protesting because they have a right, and they even have a right to be pissed about what's going on. I think that the handling of the police has been quite poor, and sure, it's something that should be criticized, and protests are definitely more than reasonable. It is not more than reasonable to burn down a city and start looting and burning cars from people that have nothing to do with any of this, right? Then regarding the situation with China, I think that Trump did a great job. I'm praising Trump in this video. Usually I'm pretty critical about the guy, but yet again, you have to be fair, you have to be objective, and sure, when something is poorly handled, you notice that, and when something is correctly handled, you should also be capable of going, yeah, well done. That's exactly what you should be doing, and that's exactly what you did. Congratulations, that's a job well done. Now, what Trump is doing in terms of the World Health Organization, I think is a fantastic job, because that is something that is rotten. That is something that is against the best interest of the same members of the group. I don't know how the World Health Organization is getting away with this in terms of pretty much working for China. And what I love that Trump said regarding how China handled this by blocking the contaminated area from the rest of the country, while at the same time allowing flights from that region to the rest of the world, making sure that the disease spread all over, while at the same time containing it for their own people within their own country and keeping it from reaching Beijing and spreading throughout the country. That is something that it's inexcusable. If you think that an area, city, province should be contained because there's a deadly disease for the rest of your country, you should not allow that to spread to the rest of the world. That is something that there's no excuse for that, and they should answer for that, because it's the closest that you get to a biological attack on other nations doing something like that. You're sending people with a disease knowingly and making sure they are spreading it beyond your borders. No excuse for that. So yeah, I absolutely love that he brought it up, and I hope that our other leaders or presidents have the guts so as to actually make similar statements and organize some kind of response for everything that has been going down, because they definitely should answer for their actions. Folks, just my take on it. We're going to be seeing some interesting times. This is not going to be getting better anytime soon. You're seeing lots of the civil unrest. You're seeing lots of the protests, and it's an atmosphere of discontent, of violence, all of this combined with a very poor economy, with the pandemic that's still ongoing. Guys, better be prepared for this. We've talked so many times about body armor, about firearms, about self-defense, about having plans in terms of problems, contingency plans in case things go wrong. A lot of that stuff, folks, is stuff that I've covered in the Modern Survival Manual, Surviving the Economic Collapse, regarding the economic aspect. On the practical side of a lot of what you're seeing on the streets, that is covered in Street Survival Skills, which is the stuff that you're seeing right now, and you want to prepare for that. That's what I describe here, available in Amazon, the link below. Take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you on the next video, folks.